Okay, here we go. All right. I hope you're ready for a last minute adventure because today the Wild Earth team will be presenting our top picks for a mid-2023 cruising escape. So we've got a few promotions in there as well, and we've basically just collated secretly, I think we want to go for a mid-year break, but we hope that you or someone you know might be able to take advantage of some of these offers. So during the webinar, pop your questions in the chat and we'll get to them at the end. Otherwise, if we don't have time, we'll do them offline and we'll get going. Oh, sorry, just a technical difficulty as I try to go to my next slide. Sorry. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so who are we? We are Wild Earth. We are small ship cruising experts, expedition experts as well. So we have access to over 2,000 trips. So there is a lot of choice out there, but we pride ourselves on matching you to the trip of a lifetime. We have 3 people in our reservation team. So you might have talked to them on the phone or over the email or met them in person. We have Ellen, who you'll see in the pink top in that picture, Tomasa in the middle, and the lovely Kylie as well. Between them, they have more than 22 years of collective experience working at Wild Earth Travel, not to mention all the years they have for their personal travel, and I guess that's what's brought them to this job here, their love of travel as well. So they're here to impart you with some of their knowledge today, except for Kylie, unfortunately, who is away. But she's given me her slides for her favorite little mid-year getaways. So without further ado, we'll skip into those slides now. And I know that one of Kylie's favorite places to go is the Kimberley. She's recently been in the last couple of years. She actually did a webinar on them not too long ago. And she said it is a great place to go small ship cruising because if you think of Kimberley as being about the size of Germany with only a few roads, the best access that you are going to get is on the water. So those small ships can get in there nice and close. And it's a perfect time of year to go in the middle of the year as they head into their dry season. And so if you are at the start of the dry season, which is May to June, you will get those amazing waterfall action as well after all those rains. So the highlights, she's mentioned that it's rugged, it's a prehistoric place, so it's wild, it's remote, there are dramatic iron-tinged red cliffs that pop out into the water, torrential waterfalls, azure waters, hidden coves and caves, secluded white sanded beaches, not to mention the magnificent reefs and the rare and endangered wildlife, and as well as one of the biggest points of difference with the Kimberley is the Indigenous customs, the rich history with the Aboriginal culture, and of course their connection and knowledge to this ancient land. So a few of the Kimberley highlights are the horizontal falls, aptly named Tidal Wonder, and David Attenborough himself has named it one of the greatest natural wonders of the world. So something that you need to check out in the Kimberley for sure. You also have the chance to visit a 40,000-year-old art gallery with all the beautiful rock art and paintings that feature in the Kimberley as well. And just watch out for those crocs and you'll be fine as well. So we do have one trip that we wanted to feature with you guys today. It's the Kimberley Explorer. So it's expedition cruising the iconic Kimberley coast, and there are a few different trips. You either start in Darwin and you knock off those highlights along the way, duck out to Ashmore Reef, which I've heard is great for snorkeling, come back in and finish up in Broome. And the trip details here. So there's a few different trips throughout July and August aboard the Heritage Adventurer, which is an expedition style trip, but you have the luxury of being on board 140 passenger luxury liner. So you've got your amenities like your pool and your spa, and there's a big bar and first class dining as well. there. So on this trip, you've got 11 days, either, as I mentioned, starting or finishing in Darwin or Broome. The prices are just starting from just under that 10,000 New Zealand dollar mark, but we do have a promotional offer for you today where you will get $1,000 Australian flight credit and a complimentary cabin upgrade for new bookings. So book by the 31st of May to get onto that deal there. And yeah, so if you are thinking of a mid-year getaway that does involve some nice, lovely, warm weather, another option that we have for you is the East Indies. So it does comprise of over 1,000 islands, and it's kind of in that Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia area. And you might be familiar with it because it has been historically pivotal to the spice trade. So highlights there include natural beauty, diverse cultures, and also the snorkeling, which I hear is amazing. So yeah, you've got your coral reefs, you've got your bird watching, especially those who are looking for those rare birds, including, I know the bird of paradise is one of the reasons that people travel to that region. There's also the animals, so you can see Komodo dragon, orangutan, they're small primates, and even elephants, but it depends where you go. So it is a vast area, so depending on what your interests are, have a chat to us and we can help guide you in the right direction. You also have the opportunity to learn about different cultures and history, just to explore, or utilize your sailing boat or your boat, whichever one, if it is a cruise liner or a sailing boat, you can just relax with a cool drink and a good book. So the trip that we are featuring today is the Spice Islands exploration. So you can see the map there. There are 12 it goes over 12 days, and there's quite a few different stops along the way. So highlights would be obviously exploring. So you would do this trip on a replica of one of those beautiful spice trading sailboats, as you can see in the background there. But there is the opportunity to head out onto another Zodiac or equivalent of to do those on-land explorations. You may learn obviously about the spice trade. Here's a picture of the nutmeg that you can find on the Banda Islands. And so learning all about that history as well. And then immersing in the local culture, partaking in cultural ceremonies, meeting the locals, having a bit of fun there. So the trip details, we actually have two different trips. They're both 12 days and they're both aboard one of those replica spice trading sailboats. And you can see the dates there. There's one in September, and there's one at the start of September, there's one at the end of September as well. But we do have a special promotion for you guys, a Wild Earth exclusive, where we are able to offer you over $1,000 US dollars worth of inclusions. So examples of this is complimentary domestic flights, the VIP transfers, 2 nights complimentary in a hotel in Bali, as well as a complimentary bar tab. So get in touch and we can give you the full details of that exclusive offer. But yeah, we'll keep going through, and I will hand you over to the lovely Tomasa, who will talk to you about French Polynesia.
Hey, hi everyone. So I'm taking you to French Polynesia today. So that is a group of islands in the Pacific Ocean, and it's only 5-hour flights from Auckland, so it's really easy to get to. And it's a good chance to get away from cold winter because it's always warm, has beautiful beaches and crystal clear waters. So Tahiti is the biggest island of French Polynesia, and that's where you would be landing on. And then Moorea and Bora Bora are the other 2 most popular places to visit. It's a French territory, so French is the main language spoken. So if you speak French, you can brush up on it. And one of the best way to experience this is by boat, because that allows you to visit a few different islands on the same trip and get a feel of the place. Because the ship is in port for most of the day, that's a really big thing, because then you have the option to either go off by yourself and explore, relax on one of the white sandy beaches, or otherwise swim in the lagoons, or do an excursion and learn about the culture. You can visit some of the pear farms, vanilla plantations, or rainforest and villages, and learn about the French Polynesian culture. Some of the excursions are a bit more adventurous than the others, so it's totally up to you how active you want to be, or how not active, and just lay by the beach and go for a swim. The ship does provide kayak snorkeling gear, so you don't have to take that yourself, and you can just use it anytime you want. Tahiti is also home to delicious food, so there's a lot of seafood and raw fish, and as well as sweet. So you're going to have a chance to taste some of that delicious food on board of the ship, as well as enjoying the entertainment. So here's a map of the cruise. It's a week long, and it starts in Papeete. It takes you to the Society Island and goes back to Papeete, as I said, by visiting Bora Bora and Moorea, which are two of the highlights. So some of the highlights, some of the other highlights of French Polynesia is you can, slow down and totally relax. I mean, you can spend time by the pool on board as well. There's daily entertainment that you can enjoy, workshop and demonstrations on board as well. And you can enjoy an overnight in Bora Bora. So as I mentioned, you do spend most of the day in port, so you have lots of time to explore the destinations without any rush, as well as you spend a couple of days in Moorea, and you can explore the sandy beaches and the gardens, and learn about the way of life. So there's also a kids program on board of the ship. So if you are a family that is looking at traveling with your smaller people, younger people, they will be looked after as well. Okay, so the trip option that we are promoting today is an 8 days aboard Paul Gauguin. That has regular departures May to December. And for those winter months, if you're wanting to escape from the cold of New Zealand or Australia, there's still good availability for June to August departures. And they still have 20% bonus. And as a Wild Earth exclusive, there is an extra 5% saving for bookings made in the next couple of weeks. And also on the 13th of April, Paul Gauguin will be celebrating its 25th year anniversary, so there will be more offers to come. So get in touch with us if you're interested, and we can keep an eye out for those for you. Okay, so that is the first place that we are going to today with me. And now we're going to go to the other end of the world, and we go into the biggest island in the world, which is Greenland. So complete different scenery and complete different feel. Greenland is, you couldn't tell from this picture, but there's a lot of iceberg, and is the biggest island in the world. And a small ship cruise can provide one of the best way to explore this area. It is a remote Arctic region, so it's not the easiest place to get to. One of the best ways to get to Greenland from Europe is starting in Spitsbergen. So on this trip, you'll be flying to Svalbard and from Paris. So you have a flight from Paris to Longyearbyen, and then you'll be spending 3 days in Spitsbergen, having a look around there, and you might even be lucky enough to see polar bears. And then from Spitsbergen, you're going to Jan Mayen Island, which is an isolated and uninhabited volcanic island, which used to be a whale hunting center, and now is just a home to large bird colonies. And then from there, you're making your way to Greenland, where you'll be spending most of your time. exploring the first the east area, then the south and the west of Greenland. And during that time, you'll be doing daily landings and zodiac cruising and learning about the Inuit culture, which is the culture of the area, as well as experiencing spectacular scenery ranges from glaciers to tundra. And also, if you're lucky, seeing some of the wildlife, which includes Arctic foxes, musk oxen, reindeer, falcons, and numerous bird species. And there's some lovely people having a dip in one of the hot pools. And during the last part of your cruise, you'll sail up the west coast of Greenland, and you'll be able to see the fjords of Prince Christian Sand, and before arriving in Kangerlussuaq, which is the end of the voyage. One of the advantages of this voyage is that you have your flights included. So you'll be flying from Paris to Longyearbyen and then from Kangerlussuaq back to Paris. So it's a really good way of escaping the summer, the European summer, spending a couple of weeks in a colder weather and then going back to the European summer. Okay, so the trip that we're featuring is Greenland of Great Explorers. It starts on the 28th of June and it is 15 days long. The price starts from just over 20,000 Australian dollars. And at the moment, there is a couple of deals on this departure. It's still at 25% bonus, and there's also a flight credit offer of $2,000 per person. There's other itineraries that are similar to these ones that also have no single supplements. So if you are thinking of traveling by yourself, this is a really good option because you can travel by yourself in luxury and not having to pay any extra supplements. And for booking with us, the exclusive value add for Wild Earth is an extra €200 per person of onboard credit. Okay, so those were my two trips, and I'll just pass you on to Ellen now for her choices.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to talk about Scotland today. So Scotland is quite a popular place for New Zealanders and Australians to go to. Seems to be the one place each year that we do tend to sell a lot of cabins for. So it is somewhere that's it's got a lot of history and culture, and of course the amazing scenery, and sailing along the coastline makes it much easier to tick off all those places that people want to get to. So our voyages tend to include mainly these three places. So St Kilda is in the Outer Hebrides. It is only accessible by small ship. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is home to Europe's largest colony of seabirds. So also we've got Lerwick, which is a main port town in the Shetland Islands, and it's a busy fishing town, and we do stop there on most of our voyages. And then the last place, which is a big highlight, is Stromness in the Orkney Islands. So it is a really picturesque port town, and it's one of the stops on our voyage, which is coming up in May, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So here's a couple of cute pictures that we've had from our past voyages. This is the type of thing that we would do. So in the Zodiacs, going out on shore, everybody's all rugged up properly because it does get pretty cold up there. And lots of walking, lots of hiking, everybody's smiley faces. So we do have, our trips are led by locals usually. And then we have the expedition guides on board the ship who know the area really well. So our trip that I'm talking about mainly is our Scotland trip, which leaves on the 12th of May. So very soon. But there is still good flights to get to the UK this year if you're wishing to go soon. So the trip here is on the Polar Pioneer. So it's only a 50 passenger vessel, And you start in Glasgow and you have a hotel night there, and then you get taken out to Oban, where the ship is located. And then off you go around the Orkneys, Shetland and Hebrides, learning about the history and culture and the wildlife of Scotland. So we still have some main deck cabins available at this promotional price. As you can see there, for the Australians, 8,905 per person, and the New Zealanders, it's 9,495. And we do have a last minute cancellation still on a superior room, which is available for just under 13,000 Australian dollars, or just under 14,000 New Zealand dollars. So that was all inclusive, as I say, including a hotel night either end. And there's also a little local flight that we're doing from Lerwick down to Edinburgh. So would be quite a good way to experience the local airline. So if anybody has any questions on that one, I have been looking after all the clients on that. So if you want to get in touch with me, I can give you some details on the ship and the itinerary. Now, the next place I love to talk about is Alaska. It is somewhere I've been a few years ago now, but we do sell a lot of Alaska. It is very popular over the last few months. I'm not sure what's happened there, but lots of people wanting to go this year, which is great. So the season runs from May to September. And of course, going by small ship means you get closer to the action. This shot here of the bears is probably zoomed in a little bit, but not too much. So many of our itineraries start in Sitka, Juneau or Ketchikan, and you do need to fly there from Seattle. So it is it's usually there's flights every day. I actually flew in from Seattle, but I'd been in Vancouver, so I took the train up from Vancouver to Seattle, which was nice. And then these are the many highlights. So you get to see the brown bears, the humpback whales, the orcas, lots of sea lions, lots of bald eagles, lots of goats, and all of our itineraries you visit Glacier Bay National Park, which is another UNESCO World Heritage Site. So here's a few photos from when I was there. This is us on the Zodiacs, just watching all the sea lions and the mountains in the distance. This is Mendenhall Glacier, which is just outside of Juneau, one of the big well-known glaciers that you get to visit pre or post, depending on the direction of your voyage. And then here's a glacier which looks really impressive. Just down at the bottom, you can see the one of our Alaskan Dream ships there, and you can just see how massive the glacier is. Much bigger than the ones in New Zealand, so it's quite impressive to see when you go there. And then this is just outside one of the ports, and we had a little all the sea lions on the buoy outside the port. And then also you get to do lots of kayaking. There's just to the right there, you can see how easy it is to get in and out of the kayaks. So if you've got any problems, or you think you may have problems with getting in and out of the water, it's really, really easy. And then you go off kayaking and venture around for an hour, then come back and warm up with some hot chocolate and cookies, which they gave us a copious amount of. So the itinerary, this is just an example of one of the itineraries. This is the one that we have at the moment that we're featuring, mainly due to its the way that it goes all the way down to Ketchikan. So you get to see the very north of Southeast Alaska in Glacier Bay, and then all the way back down in Ketchikan, and get to go to Tracy Fjord and Wrangell, which is a small fishing port. And there's lots of culture and history on our tours, so you get to learn about the local people and what they get up to. And even on my voyage, we actually had locals on board, which was really nice. So we got to learn about the local area. So that particular one is called Inside Passage Sojourn. It is it does go all throughout the year. It is a 9-day voyage and it's on the Baranoff Dream, but we have 25% off that one. But we also have just through this morning 25% off a number of trips on the Baranoff Dream or the Chichikov Dream, which is our other ship that I've been on, and then the Alaskan Dream catamaran. And also we have some solo travel supplements that have been waived for this season. So if you have any solo travelers or you solo travel yourself, it's a really good way to save a lot of money and have a large cabin to yourself. And yeah, just get in touch with me if you need any information on the best time of year to go, any information on what you want to see, if there's somewhere in particular that you want to go to. I'm happy to have a chat with you and share all the information and knowledge and help you out. And I think that's it from Tomasa and I. So we will pass you back to Nissa, see if we had any questions.
Literally pass over. Thank you, guys. That was fantastic. I didn't actually have too many questions come forth, but if you do have a question, pop it in and we'll be able to address it. In the past, I have had the question that, you know, if I'm looking for a last minute adventure, how last minute can we get on that in terms of getting on the boat?
We sell people probably a couple of weeks before even.
Yeah, or even less, depending on how far you're going. And
yeah, so depending on how far you're going, but often a lot of the ships will take people up to a couple of weeks before, as long as we've got all the details, the passport details, and or they've got insurance and everything like that, then a couple of weeks is good. But yeah, anywhere like that is usually people look at flights, and if the flights aren't too expensive, the cruise works as well. Yeah,
cool. Well, hear that, guys. It's not too late to get in for your last minute adventure. Sorry, I will just skip to the next slide there. So yes, if you want to book anything, first and foremost, get in contact with your travel agent. We are also here for any questions. You've got our details in all the EDMs that we send out, and there will be a follow-up EDM with this recording, and also we'll pop the slides up on there, and then we'll just put some more information on about all those lovely deals that we had today. Thank you for attending, and I hope you got something out of it. And look forward to next month when we will be discussing beautiful Fiordland, and we have a special guest on with us, Glenda Darling, who does a lot of expedition guiding through Fiordland. She's a bit of an expert, and she comes from a background in geology and eco-conservation. So she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Fiordland. So that will be in an email out to you shortly. But in the meantime, thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.